We've seen people do pretty much everything on a skateboard at this point. Spin upside down in 3 circles, drop off a helicopter into a half pipe bigger than anyone ever imagined, jumping over the Grand Canyon. Incredible progression. So what is there left to do? Maybe it's just time to come back to the basics. Sliding down the hill, smooth, graceful, fast. Because when you strip away all of the tricks, all of the window dressing, what do you really have? Maybe you just have a man going really fucking fast, trying to get a little closer to Nirvana for a second. Because in that moment, when the wind whipping by your ears is your only companion, and that tiny slat of wood beneath your feet is your only salvation, that's how you feel. Like you're that much closer to paradise.
Originally, Cliff Coleman came down. He was sliding up in the Bay Area, and he came down and showed his technique to a couple of our employees, and they went out in the hills and started sliding. And then Stacy Peralta came down and documented it, and it ended up making it into the Bones Brigade video in 1984.
Here you go.
Right on, Chris. Hey, we'll go hill sliding at 4, guy.
All right, yeah, see you.
Gatehouse Media was sort of a project company that really formed organically, and it's still run not really as a legitimate business, but it's pretty much just a bunch of friends that come together to skate. And how the media came into place is we were collecting a whole bunch of film, raw runs, pictures, and there necessarily wasn't a sponsor outlet to put it out for certain people, or necessarily where to share it, or how to be approved by a sponsor. So we're like, well, let's just create a little like blog website and start putting up some content and sharing it, because at the time the rebirth of downhill was relatively new, especially with the new social media platforms that everyone had access to.
Freshman year of college, I met my buddy Eric Singer, and he was from the Valley down here in Los Angeles, and we just enjoyed skateboarding together, went on some camping trips, and that's when we really learned that you could skate down these hills and mountain roads in the way that people are doing it now. And we're actually out in Mammoth, California, the first time I would say we really did a significant hill on our skateboards, and from there it was kind of like, wow, this is all we want to do right now. When we got back, we realized that the hills there in Santa Barbara were actually perfect and world-class for what we wanted to do.
We started skating parking garages, and we have like 2 minutes of continuous motion. So we start playing around with other things. It's like, all right, let's like slide our feet to the front of the board, or like let's like grab a rail, or let's try and put a hand down, or let's play with these other aspects of gravity. And maybe you turn really hard and you can make these angles within these certain lines, or maybe you skid your board out a little bit to correct for like what would otherwise be an impossible line. Or we started playing with our equipment and like loosening trucks and experimenting with different bushing combinations and figuring out how to make these boards do what we wanted them to do. And that's sort of how we started to realize that what we were kind of doing in skateboarding was a little bit unique.
Pretty much we had a lot of people living in a small little 2-bedroom apartment, and our whole entire thing was just go out and skate and explore hills. We just rediscovered some downhill skating techniques that allowed us to skate a lot of new terrain.
So we had this feeling like that we were kind of inventing it as we were going along. We didn't really have like the manual where it's like, all right, we learned this trick, now we progress to this trick. It's like, well, we want to do this, but we don't know how, so let's figure out how to make equipment or develop maneuvers to make us physically do what we know that we can do or what we think we might be able to do.
And we did a college tour up to Santa Barbara. I met up with Max and Eric, and we heard about the hills up there, but we haven't really skated them too much. And we went up to the hills with them and just started doing some runs. I mean, it was just skating with friends, you know, and that takes you a whole bunch of new places.
First met up with Eric Singer and Max Myers in the early days, and they kind of brought us into the community. Eric at the time had been riding for Arbor and everything. He was working at the Arbor store, so he kind of brought us into the loop and kind of taught us some of the etiquette about going down the hills and stuff. At the time we were pretty ignorant, you know, thought we were pedestrians and we had to ride away all the time, and that's just ignorant and just not, not the way things can be done.
Really what got us going out there and learning how to do these things is San Marcos Road, and there's a really wonderful set of few hairpins on that road that were really conducive to teaching us how to control our speed. It was a safe environment for us to do it in, since we could spot the turns really easily. So we would just get out there and practice as much as we could. We worked on the hairpins, skated some of the slower sections. Eventually we transitioned into being able to skate the whole thing, and it kind of just blossomed from there.
And I remember my first time driving it, I saw those hairpins and I'm like, no way. Like, it just seems so impossible. Like, I didn't think a car can make it up it. It was like a roller coaster, like the banking and the dropping. It's just, yeah, it's like a corkscrew. It seemed like impossible.
It was sort of uncharted a little bit. Like, it was something that hadn't been totally sold out and exploited yet, and hadn't, you know, we were just in the beginning. The people were still figuring out how fast they really could go and like how to do these new slides, and the technology was just blooming, and like the whole thing was blossoming, and I just saw opportunity to be a part of something that was new, sort of, you know, and I think that really drew me to it a lot. And then just simply, I love going fast, and downhill, that's what I like to do, is go fast.
Yeah, just all my friends skate now too, and it's just like, you know, if I want to hang out with my friends, I'm going to be skating, you know, that's what I love doing. Never have a bad time out on the hill. I mean, you know, definitely fall a few times, but surprisingly, you know, the adrenaline rush and the fun it gives you is worth all the pain that comes, you know. And it's also awesome just because the more you do it, the more fun it becomes, the better you get. You know, the harder you push yourself, the less you fall. So it's just more happiness, less pain. That ratio just starts to shift, and then you're golden.
before I was supposed to be on one of our local gnarlier runs, I show up there, no helmet, just brand new gloves. All I knew how to do was spin in circles to slow down. Didn't even know how to pre-drift for corners or anything. And I'm skating an open road, and these kids come up to me, which are now my local skate crew, the Santa Barbara crew, you know. They came straight up to me, just, "Where's your helmet? You can't be doing this, what are you doing?" But they were also willing to teach me the ways and do it properly to keep me alive.
Everyone's kind of gotten to run, so someone want to spot that, right?
Well, the biggest fear of downhill skateboarding is death, you know, and there are two very obvious ways that could happen. Collision with a vehicle or a rock wall or something. You know, you're going fast, you hit a solid object, you can die.
Who said downhill skateboarding is safe?
We know that in the battle between a car versus us, we're gonna lose every time.
Mountain roads, they're mountainous, so on one side you've got rock wall, other side, cliffside.
Saw some kids mess up and they got laid into, but it was really like driving for us that safety was important.
I even get scared driving up the hill if I don't know my buddies are skateboarding and all of a sudden a pack of homies come flying through while I'm just driving with my girlfriend to go up and watch the sunset or something. It is scary, so.
Well, yeah, the local crew, what's amazing is you had a small group of guys, and how successful they've become in this sport is amazing. Tyler Howell now, he was one of the first Santa Barbara born and raised kids to become a pro skater, pro downhill skateboarder. I mean, he's got the big sponsors and he gets to travel the world now from riding a downhill skateboard. It's amazing.
I've definitely given myself a beating over skateboarding, but always come home, like I learned when I was 10 years old, pain is temporary, glory is forever.
Coming out to Santa Barbara, the first time I ever skated any of the hills, I was just blown away. You know, we didn't have anything like that in Texas. You got miles of downhill with corners like I've never seen or like dreamt of before.
People take vacations, they take time off from their lives and their jobs specifically to come skate Santa Barbara, to skate Los Angeles and Malibu, because these are the places that have been presented to them as kind of the holy grail of what is out there to ride.
Yeah, our roads here are really special. Like, we have a lot of fast, technical downhill roads.
And then you come out here and you have corners that are just dumping grades, and you really have to be careful on the runs and really have to know what you're doing, staying in your lane and whatnot. It's not a jungle gym here, it's serious business.
So we always knew that it's probably not legal to go down these roads at 50 miles an hour and practice our sport on them.
So there's always been a little bit of tension between the skateboarders and just the general public here in Santa Barbara. You know, not everybody really is aware of what we do. A lot of them are really surprised, you know, when they see us. They've never seen anything like it before.
So yeah, we just realized that, you know, with increased presence on the hill, there were going to be increased repercussions. So we just kind of wanted to limit that and mitigate our interactions as much as possible.
Because we'd kind of had like this unofficial relationship with the CHP or all the sheriffs or all the law enforcement on these roads, where we were respectful, they were respectful. They would come out for a call, they'd ask us to leave, and we'd go. And that was that, you know. Skate to get busted another day.
A lot of them would just think, you know, there's some nuts guys just going down a hill on a skateboard, like they're gonna get themselves killed. Like they don't think that we're in control and know what we're doing. You know, we get low to the ground and like throw our board sideways, and they think we're just like winging it on a prayer or something. They don't realize like we practiced it for years and years.
Then this one guy from LA came and he was insistent that everyone's getting tickets. So I told him, like, all right, man, you want to write me a ticket? That's fine. I'll see you in court. So I saw him in court a little bit later, and the judge ruled in my favor, which was cool.
To have a core group of guys skateboarding these roads every single day, as much as possible. I mean, we were getting the cops called multiple times, every time. People, their initial reaction to seeing us go down the road is that we're trying to kill ourselves, that we are out of control, that it is an unsure thing, that we're probably gonna die at some point. I mean, I think most people are calling the cops because they think they're saving our lives.
If they don't already understand how fragile their bodies are, and I've lost a lot of skin on hills as a kid on skateboards, if you already don't understand that, come with us for a couple ride-alongs and see the tragedy we see. Bodies versus vehicles, it's not a good combination. Bodies versus asphalt, it never works out well.
So we're out on the hill, we're all going really fast, and we come into a right-hand corner we now call Danger Right. And it's a corner that's really weirdly set up. You can't see the exit of it, and you can't see the entrance if you're oncoming. And coming into it, it's controlled, staying in my lane and everything. And right as I'm at the critical point to where I need to throw my board sideways and shed speed to make it through the corner, I just see a car cutting the lane, like fully in my lane. All I remember is seeing the car, throwing my board sideways, trying to get to the right side of the road and thinking like, I'm going under the hood of this car right now. Ended up knocking both my front teeth out, getting rattled up pretty good.
We've existed in a legal gray area for a long time, and instead of taking that up as a starting point for establishing how we can be protected by law and considered by law, it's disregarded completely, and they went straight for the ban. It's a bummer, but it's kind of what skateboarding, the hand that skateboarding has always been dealt, and what skateboarders have always had to deal with.
An all-out ban here in Santa Barbara, it was kind of a shock. I mean, it's not going to stop me from skating down the hills. Maybe it'll stop young people from starting downhill skateboarding, which is unfortunate. But it doesn't really make sense.
Well, my initial reaction as a public official is the first thing that's most important to me is public safety. And so when I saw that the CHP was recommending this, and our sheriff's department also was in favor of banning it, the first thing that came to my mind was, okay, this is something we need to do to protect people.
Our next item before you this afternoon presents a proposed ordinance for your consideration to address a need and the request of the California Highway Patrol for more enforcement tools to deal with the increasing popularity of downhill skateboarding on some of our mountainous roads in the unincorporated county.
And I never thought I would downhill skateboard. I honestly never thought I would. I thought those guys are crazy. Like they're going so fast downhill. It's so scary, you know?
That's a huge bond builder between us for sure, is those near-death moments that we have where we look at each other and we go, wow, dude, we almost died there. I mean, I've had times where I've felt that connection with someone after a run, and I feel a lot closer to them because of what we just went through.
Yeah, Patrick Welsh, he was the main kid who he'd teach me pretty much everything that I know about downhill skateboarding, and I learned a lot from him. And he's a kid, he's younger than me, but he is so enthusiastic about skateboarding and the whole skate scene.
I keep skating not as much for the sport itself, but for all the people I've met skating. I'm lucky enough to be supported by companies and go around the world traveling. And it's a really unique opportunity for me as such a young kid being able to do that.
I told Pat, I said, hey, I know you have finals this week, but would you be interested in going for a quick skate run? And Pat can never say no to a skate sesh.
So going up there that day, I mean, how did you feel about her skating down?
Going up that day, I actually tried to get her to skate a different place in the Riviera, but she was driving. I can't drive, so she kind of just went up to Gibraltar.
We had fun. We had lots of fun. I was having great fun. And Patrick was going so fast. He was going like 50 miles an hour.
like safety with her was an issue, but she doesn't know some of the basic things and kind of all over the place with lanes.
So, how do you mean? You don't remember the run
because of what happened. I don't remember anything that happened from the accident. Like my memory from that day ends where I take off for my second run. Yeah, Pat was there, but I think whatever he saw or whatever was the aftermath of me being hit, I think he doesn't want to tell me, doesn't want to talk about it, which is okay. He's probably looking out for me in that respect.
So after the accident, went into the hospital, and Tara had a slight brain bleed and some fractures in her skull. Plus, I think she blew a eardrum, and it was pretty shocking seeing that firsthand.
I remember seeing her in the hospital, and she's all bruised up. I saw her helmet. She's wearing a full face helmet with the chin guard. The chin guard was just busted off. It looked like the tire really went over her head. Like she's really lucky to be alive.
One of my friends said he had asked the highway patrol that had responded when he saw him at the hospital, and they said that it didn't look good for me. The outlook did not look good, but I toughed through it somehow. I think a lot of my friends were sending me their love, and I was on a lot of people's minds, and they were sending me good thoughts. So I powered through it, and somehow I made it.
So I wasn't surprised when I learned that they were putting in legislation to ban us on the roads that we were skating most. When it came up, it was our chance to prove them wrong and show them that we're not just skateboard hooligans. It's a way of life, it's a culture, it's a sport, it's our jobs, it's everything to us.
Santa Barbara has a very long and rich history with skateboarding here in Santa Barbara, and it continues to contribute millions of dollars of revenue to the local economy.
We can effectively brake, slow down, stop, and corner efficiently as any biker. The only time a CHP officer actually observed us, he followed us down San Marcos Road on his motorcycle while we skated. At the bottom, he said that we were in no way obstructing traffic, breaking traffic laws, or seemed out of control. He told us to be safe and that we could keep skating. I think if more people would give us a chance like that, this stigma wouldn't exist.
Very rarely do I see a story that's as compelling as the ones that the skaters that were there at the hearing brought to the hearing.
We may have different methods of braking and slowing down, controlling ourselves as we go down, but we can keep the exact same pace and control as a bicyclist. Instead of being reactionary and instituting a ban, this discussion should serve as a starting point to keep the topics of safe use of bikes and skateboards on roadways as a public topic.
So yeah, it was pretty much just a deal done behind closed doors. I believe Janet Wolf said something along the lines of the CHP help us out with so many things, and they never ask for anything, so we really can't say no to them, which doesn't really make sense. I thought they're kind of there to uphold the will of the public, not other government agencies, but I don't know, I guess that's serves their best political interest,
Instead of posting signs that say no skateboarding, post signs that say caution, skateboarders are present. Please share the road.
Yeah, I'm really wrestling with this because I understand and there's whole business implications here. It's great to see a lot of you young guys out there getting involved in business and creating something out of really nothing. That's kind of cool. But you also have to weigh the protecting the taxpayers' wallet. That if one of you gets hit, that now we're liable. So I will hear what my colleagues have to say. I like to go into every meeting with an open mind, but, generally you review the materials and you kind of feel where you're going to be at. And then, I kind of listen to the testimony at that point, and that's actually what changed my mind.
Safety. Most of the folks talked about safety. I saw a skateboard that I probably couldn't afford. But I think some of these folks that are going down this hill don't have all the special equipment, don't have the special boards and so forth. The roads are way too narrow.
In the end, the liability wasn't on our side.
Supervisor Farr.
Thank you, Madam Chair. I just want to say that, they have been very polite and respectful, and I appreciate that. But they have also been inconsistent as a group. I know that a number of the comments we received at the hearing, and then also since then, have talked about, don't ban it, put up more signs, stripe the road, make everybody stay in their lane. And yet, if you go online, it's easy to find their YouTube videos advertising these roads, showing them weaving back and forth across the roads.
All right, any further discussion? Very good. We'll have a roll call vote on A32.
Mr. Adam?
Aye.
Mr. Lavanino?
No.
Mr. Carbajal?
Aye.
Ms. Farr?
Aye.
Ms. Wolf?
Aye.
Passes 4-1.
Okay, thank you.
Like I said, a lot of us are always going to go down the safest route. That's just the way government works. We want to protect ourselves and insulate ourselves. And so I understand why.
Especially young adults, they want to know why. They want the why question answered. And the why is your life depends on us to put these laws in place to protect you. The motoring public in most of these roadways, they're not expecting a skateboarder to be coming down at maybe 30 miles per hour around a corner. And while there are some skateboarders who could safely negotiate those corners and come to a stop in a reasonable amount of time, we have to account for every level of skateboarder.
Where I grew up in Vancouver, you could skate down the hill. Sure, somebody would be pissed, but it's really not their place, and they kind of know it, so they just let you go and do your own thing. So it was a big change, but of course, just a big pleasure to be part of a small community again and see it growing.
And our event's really special. It's really cool seeing all these people come support our local crew at our hills. And it's really great seeing something that won't get shut down, that we can just have fun.
Something with the tail. You want to give a little recap of the day?
I would love to give a recap of the day.
Looks like you got a little bit of a carnage all over yourself too.
The first Santa Barbara Outlaw race, people were flying off the cliff. People weren't wearing the proper equipment or not knowing what they should wear.
Well, I learned today.
Always ride Magoon trucks.
Always ride Magoon trucks. Makes you stable as hell. Don't enjoy the ride.
Don't have fun.
Don't have fun, but stay safe.
And then you come to now the races are legitimate.
Tom was very instrumental in going through all the paperwork and making sure everything was permitted.
It was just a really well put together event. Everybody had a great time, and it showed a lot of the people who maybe hadn't visited Santa Barbara that there's a real special place here for skating.
It's hectic so far. Oh my God, I can't even get a second to help the boys out. But it's going good. Everything's coming together. We got the hay here. The porta potty man's come through, missing one more block of hay. Just running around as fast as I can right now.
He's taking care of business, that's for sure.
Okay, so yeah, we're trying to, minimize the space between the hay bales while, maximizing the amount of space covered by hay bales. So you kind of got to think about the angle the skater's going to be coming in at and making sure there's no gaps between everything.
Dave is a pro at this.
I guess, ain't my first rodeo now.
Caden's like, we from Texas.
Cold beers sound really good right now. It's like all I can think about.
Beer.
I was going back to the camp and drinking beer.
So where are you guys from?
It's from LA, Venice area, just kind of vacationing out here, enjoying the mountains. It's the best. Yeah, the way we have it set up, we kind of have it almost like a domino. So if they hit one bale, they're gonna hit a couple. So ideally, they'll hit one and that'll slow them down, and they'll just keep hitting a couple. Let them slow down enough to not be too dangerous. But I mean, if you hit it wrong, you could go sending with it.
Ready for a good time.
The people in it are so special, and it's probably the one thing that has kept me in it the longest, is that the people I've met through it, and we share that special bond that we can't all really explain, but we know it's there.
Let's make it happen. Everyone get ready, stage up, and let's take our first run of the day.
It's all started right now. Long ass weekend begins.
Oh, it's looking good. I mean, it looks like we got about maybe 200 people spread out throughout the hill.
Our chief officers informed us to come on out and just assist in any way that we can today. So we're looking forward to seeing how it all goes down. Hopefully everybody can do it safely and have fun.
Well, the first time I saw it was from a GoPro, Thomas going down hills with GoPros. Those were the first time I saw the films. And I really didn't want to ever see it again. I said, I don't want to see you doing this sport. I don't like it. One year he had 3 different broken bones. I just didn't support it until I got involved. And then I see that it is a sport, and it's a sport that people have a lot of passion for and love, and they're very good at it. And I now have a lot more respect. I don't just see danger. Yes, it's dangerous.
It's fast. It's really fast. Like, I'm gonna have to tighten my trucks a little bit. Hey, shit, like 2 or 3 times. Oh, this isn't the worst.
So ladies, what do we see here?
We see a nice little first-degree sidewalk burn.
That is right.
It's a first degree because I don't
Ooh,
see any
nice.
white meat.
Nice.
Just a nice.
Just a good old first
Good one.
burn.
Yeah, first run?
So what
Yeah,
are
it was
we
my.
gonna do, Susie? Are
It
we
was
gonna
last
do
run.
the
Okay.
big-
This run,
I'm gonna
it
use
was
that
great.
big
This one.
outside.
Ready to get back on the hill.
If you're
My butt is.
build them bigger, better, right?
Exactly. My butt is. Feels like it's got new skin on it.
Pretty nice.
Yeah, it's gnarly.
Yeah,
Sick course.
I'm not really
Way better than last year.
Yeah.
Way better.
We drove down from Southern Oregon to San Francisco and then drove down here the rest of the way with a buddy of ours in his truck. So altogether like 9.5 hours of driving or something, but totally worth it. Good trip.
My friend Zoe actually introduced me into downhill skating, and I've been skating for about 5 months in general. I'm pretty stoked, but a little bit nervous.
Riders ready. Riders set. Go!
Climbing that last corner and sliding out and they're hitting people and knocking, everybody's like on top of the hay bales. It's a dangerous situation.
You can catch the bus on the way back.
Yeah, it's okay. Me too.
It's kind of rough today, honestly. I'm not feeling very good right now. That last transmission is really just not bueno. That's not what I want happening at all.
Especially Katie. Yeah, I would not have let her
I'm
go
just kind
down.
of thinking of how we can fix it down there. This is the problem when you have a new course and a lot of guys and you're trying to figure out how to run buses and fit 120 people at the bottom and pick them up and do everything efficiently. It's really hard. It's really hard.
I think it's great. It's kind of scary.
So we got the whole family here?
Yes, I'm so excited to be here and watch him. I've never seen him actually race. First time, but he's got leathers fingers on. crossed. Fingers crossed. There's no major injuries.
So I got bumped by Jasper.
Uh-oh.
He shoved me off the road. And yeah, that's about it.
And where's the road rash?
I got on my arm, hip, stomach. Yeah.
I need you guys on the line. Mo, Rika, Jasper, and Louie.
Yeah, pretty good, man. Pretty
You
good.
from fucking Sweden?
Yeah, man.
Damn, dude, you're really out here.
Yeah.
There we go.
I'm probably the oldest guy out here.
At what age?
44.
And tell me again when you started skating.
5 years, well, 6 years, 10 years ago, 5 years downhill. So back in 2010, I started downhilling.
Your body takes it just fine, huh?
I can handle it. I'm okay. I was actually broken off 10 months ago. Broken femur 3 places, broken shoulder. But Kevin's my inspiration, so I'm here. All right, let's do this.
Get it, Ricker!
skateboarders on their way.
Third place, where's my third place am? Little Patrick Welsh, Santa Barbara local! Santa Barbara local! Let's hear it for the amateur class! First place in the pro division, where's Alex Charleston?
The ban of downhill skateboarding in Santa Barbara really reminds me of the ban of downhill skateboarding in Malibu that happened in 2006. And really, it's not the entire community of Malibu, of Santa Barbara coming together because of this crazy problem of skateboarders in the street. It's generally one or two residents that are up on city council and they're sick and tired of skateboarders going past their house. They like riding bicycles instead of skateboards. And so they want to alleviate themselves of what this issue is.
We've all pretty much dedicated a big part of our lives to this. You can tell us that we can't go skateboard. You can, no matter, I don't care what penalties. You can tell me you're going to throw me in jail if I go skateboard. I'm going to go skateboard.
Downhill skateboarding for me has done, it's probably been the most powerful driving force that I've had in my life.
Slowly but surely, it's coming back to me. And I can actually do some toe side slides. I practiced some the other day and they worked out for me, so I'm pretty happy. Maybe one day I will come back to going fast.
Like the people who I bomb hills with, I trust my life with them. It's like, I don't know, it's just when you have that relationship, it's just hard to walk away from,
Yeah, that's where I've had a lot of the best feelings in downhill skateboarding, is just kind of hanging out with friends in secluded areas where you just kind of feel like you're the king of the world. You're overlooking at a huge empty valley and it's like, this is mine.
Skateboarding's always given me a glorious feeling, and I never cared about that pain that I had to pay at the time, and it will always be that way. I'm sure I'll tone it down at some day, but I'm gonna skate forever.
Skateboarding is supposed to be illegal in my eyes. If it wouldn't be fun if we weren't out there breaking the rules. That's what it's supposed to be. It's supposed to be against the grain. It's supposed to be counterculture. It's supposed to be different. If it's not pissing people off, it's not really all that fun. And we don't go out there to piss people off. We're respectful. We're probably the most respectful people on the hill. But in the end, I think some of us really enjoy being outlaws.
rough for mounts.